Nestling beneath the North York moors is the village of Thornton-le-Dale. And for over 30 years, it's been the home of the Mathewsons. A dynasty of dealers with a love of classics.
They just have a personality, there's just something about them.
In all shapes and sizes.
Well, it is the best job ever, really, isn't it?
A passion that can be turned into brass. They auction over 4,000 rare vehicles every year.
Start me on it, we're going to be with it. Most people will go to a sale with something in mind, but come away with something different.
Some things either got it or it hasn't.
It's what they fall in love with on that day.
There's head of the family, Derek.
What a runner. Smooth as silk, this car.
Trusted lieutenants, sons Paul.
Working with your family, it has its ups and its downs. God, blimey.
And Dave.
I bet you £1 it doesn't start.
The fun is the chase.
Morning, Mathewsons.
You just don't know what's on the end of the phone, what you're going to find when you open them doors.
Spot on.
That's the find of the century. It's the real deal.
Just never really 2 days exactly the same.
This is a family's love affair with motors that have lived a life.
There's a story behind every car in this building.
Testing. Most people will buy a car because they can relate to it. Maybe a car that Dad had. We're selling dreams.
Right, here we go.
On sale this week.
Jaguar E-Type 4.2.
We've got an MGC and a Jag, which have been here since 1993. Not much use in the garage, are they?
1965 Austin Gypsy. Lovely looking thing.
The original seats with the packaging.
It's good order. They do quite well this, you know. The Toyota MR2 stroke Ferrari.
It's a tribute, I think, to cars that have got a bit of quality behind them. And if they put a lot of love into building them, that's all I wanted.
Mathewsons stores beautiful cars, trucks, motorcycles and bizarre paraphernalia from all over the UK and beyond.
Oh, an MG Magnet and a Subaru. There's a difference.
So Derek, this is you doing your emails.
This is it, mate.
You've just got to staple them together now.
Staple them together and that just makes one big email. Makes it a lot easier to answer then.
Some of the vehicles just arrive at the garage with the owners in tow.
Lovely, isn't she? Used to be the post office, didn't it?
Absolutely. Busby.
But many are collected by the family themselves.
Basically, what I've arranged is very little.
This can be a point of contention.
I've arranged Cannock and Stone. So personally, I would do that.
It's sometimes said, when you've got a vehicle to pick up, you sort of go for the nice ones. How do you stand accused on that?
Not guilty, my lord. That is a wicked rumour.
No, you're not. No. Who's told you that? Yeah, I think that might be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, I do steer one or two of the awkward ones their way. But it does them good. It's character building.
So to prove a point, Derek's nabbed a plum barn find. Hiding in the wilds of Scotland, a 1968 E-Type Jag and a rare MGC convertible.
Yeah, lovely people by the sounds of them. In what's described as a big old manor house, with I presume a big old barn alongside it, with a couple of big old classics in there. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully the weather's okay and we'll have a nice day. Hard to value until you get there. Just depends what they're like. Don't know how well they've been kept. One thing I will tell you, they'll achieve more than what they maybe should. Big demand for an MGC convertible, and even bigger demand for an E-Type.
Joy Smith has lived in the southern uplands of Ayrshire for the best part of 30 years. But there's one part of the property she hasn't ventured into much.
So what have we got in here then, Joy?
We've got an MGC and a Jag, which have been here since 1993 when my husband died, and they haven't been seen since.
So they've been in the garage for all these years?
They have, yes.
And do we know what sort of state they're in at the moment? Or?
I have no idea.
Joy's husband, Wally, bought the Jag just before they moved here.
We were on a holiday over in California, in Monterey, and Wally went off somewhere, and he came back and he said, I've just bought a Jaguar. I said, okay.
Was he known for going off and buying odd things?
Yes. I think the guy got it from here over to America, used it for just a very short time to go from his house to the golf course, and that's why it's got quite a low mileage on it.
The MGC was an earlier impulse buy.
When we were in Ireland, we were in a farmhouse, and I saw him building the car and putting the bits in, in each room and different things like that. My daughter was married in it. There was much very happy memories in it.
Joy and Wally have owned many great vehicles. Their collective love of classics, a joint adventure, evident from their early years.
My Irish friend Betty and I emigrated to Canada. We bought a Lambretta scooter, a second-hand one, and we toured most of the states in Canada, down through New Zealand. We did every road there was, and then we went up to India, and then when we got back to the UK, we went across the continent and then did all the countries in the continent.
So you went around the world on a Lambretta?
Basically.
Why?
Good point.
When Joy married Wally a few years later, his work on oil refineries resulted in yet more world tours and another excuse to pursue the passion.
He absolutely loved cars. Everywhere we went, there was always a reason why we went to a place, something to do with the car, yes.
So, Granny, you stand back here.
Joy's granddaughter, Kate, and her boyfriend, Sean, have come over to help get the cars ready for Derek's arrival.
The family want me to move. The building is 1702, and it needs an awful lot of work done to it. The cars, not much use in the garage, are they? And I mean, I'm getting ancient, so, it's best that we do something with them. It's time for them to go.
By the time Derek arrives, any ideas of an idyllic collection north of the border have drained into the nearest lock.
Welcome to Scotland.
Oh, man. I think we've had it. I can't see us turning around up here. We're going to have to pop a car on, aren't we? And then maybe run it down and drop it on the trailer and come back for another one. I want to go back to Yorkshire. Yeah, oh, I see. Oh, dear. Oh, it's an old baronial house of some sort, isn't it? Oh, heavens.
Hello, lovely day for ducks.
Hello, Joy.
Hi.
I'm Derek.
Hello, Derek.
Hi, nice to meet you. We've got flat tyres. I see there's a compressor.
Yeah.
Do you think we may have an airline or anything like that?
Oh, don't ask me.
No.
Don't you bring those sort of things with you?
No.
A bit of pipe was found. Then, some grovelling in the dust.
Well, I just got to hope that we can pull it, haven't we?
But with some dexterous driving and a winch, the precious E-Type emerges into something approximating daylight.
Yeah, keep it right hard over if you can. Lovely.
After that, it's business as usual. Just a bit wetter.
What are you thinking at the moment, Joy?
Half and half, rather than go to a good home.
It's not the easiest of drives to get in and out of, is it?
No. No, there was once that we had a fire, and with the fire engine had to take the gates off, so there you go. Bye, car.
We can keep it going, she'll be laughing.
As per the master plan, the E-Type is deposited at the end of the road.
There she goes. That's it. Lovely.
Now, the MGC.
Can you do the same again, Sean? Good boy. I think I might be able to put you on the payroll, you know, but I'm thinking about it, but I don't think I will.
The rear brakes are completely seized. And the weather has turned so bad, apparently, even some people who live in Scotland are calling this rain.
They don't exaggerate, do they, up here? Oh, man. We've only got one chance at this, really. We need to get it about right first time. Otherwise, we're going to have aggravation getting off again.
At no point during this process has Derek had the energy to assess the cars. But after he's dried out, back in Yorkshire, he'll probably like them.
Well done, Sean. Thank you for your help. Pleasure.
Meanwhile, over in Chester, Dave's reenacting his level 14 trailer reversing test. He's here to meet Helen Bateman, who's organising the sale of two beautiful utilitarian classics. A 1965 Austin Gypsy, and from 1951, a Massey Ferguson TE20 tractor.
We're in.
Hello, how are you?
We're in. Yeah, we're in.
You've done that before, haven't you?
I know, there's another clutch now. Well, you just put one clutch in it.
Everything here belonged to Helen's friend, Lynn Cairns, who recently passed away. Renovating vehicles was her passion.
I've been good friends with Lynn for 30 years, and Lynn acquired this vehicle in 2012 and the tractor in 1994, actually. It was her wish that I should arrange for them to go to Mathewsons for the sale.
Both vehicles have been meticulously renovated. Helen assisted Lynn, who left her some notes so she'd know exactly what she was selling.
It's a 1965, approximately 1,400 miles. It's a historic vehicle, 4x4, ex-civil defence, needs recommissioning. What does that mean? It's not run for three years. The battery's flat. Where's the battery? I don't know where the battery is. And we need to press the solenoid under the bonnet. What's the solenoid?
The Fergie holds good memories for Helen.
It was a birthday present, actually. I bought it for her in 1994, and she stripped it down, bought a whole load of new parts for it, and gradually put it back together again. It's very emotional, you know. Should have been Lynn doing this.
Have you been slightly sort of dreading this day a little bit?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. It's you know, it's like everything else, like emptying the house. It has to be done, and you just kind of get on with it. But at the same time, it's emotional, that's for sure. Looks tidy though.
Yeah, nice little tractor.
She did a good job of it.
It's a nice little thing. They're great for a little small holding, or you just want something cheap and cheerful just to do a few shows with them, and play about with, you know. It might do 2,750. Right, let's have a look at the little Gypsy.
Is he wrecking it? What are you doing with the big hammer on my truck?
Yeah. I don't know, that's why I don't know why you weren't looking.
Oh, well done. God, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
World War II was over, but the battle to be the British Army's field car of choice was on. After a few false starts, Austin's effort was the champ, the forerunner to the Gypsy. The Champ was outgunned by the newfangled Land Rover, so its replacement, the Gypsy, entered the domestic market, targeting farmers, vets and country GPs, who were taken by its advanced Flexitour suspension and the optional extra of doors with locks. The commercial battle with Land Rover raged for a decade. The Gypsy was made from British steel while the Landy opted for aluminium. And when Austin and Rover merged, the less successful Gypsy got the chop. The Gypsy that's off to the auction retains plenty of genuine 50s charm.
Just the original seats with the packaging. She's had them in her bedroom upstairs.
It's good order. It'd do quite well, this, you know. First impression, I would say 6, 7, something like that, I would think.
Really? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Smashing.
Super. Helen, thanks ever so much.
Oh, that's lovely. Lovely to meet you.
No problem.
Smashing.
Take care. See you later.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. For me, it's just sadness to see them have to go, you know. They were Lynn's love, really, and she'd want them to go on to a new life. That's the thing. It's the end of the journey for here. It's the start of a new life for the trucks.
The following morning, it's an early start.
Yeah, right hand down a bit. Yeah, come on, come on, come on.
With the next auction just around the corner, the last few vehicles are arriving.
It's either a tractor, it's a fire engine, it's a car, it's a motorbike. Oh, this is ringing. This is always ringing.
Well, it's not ringing now.
Well, it's not ringing now, but that's because Hannah's just come off it. Should we give it 10 seconds?
The Jag 4.2 from 1968 and the 1969 MGC Roadster will shortly be going under the hammer after spending nearly 30 years in a barn. Derek's still traumatised after his washout trip north of the border.
Monsoon, I tell you, it's not raining, it's monsoon up there. Absolutely wet through. Anyway, we got them out eventually, and that was it, and got loaded up and away. But by which time, I just couldn't stand the wet pants and that anymore on the seats. So I pulled in the lay-by, took my pants off, put my shorts on, and then put my pants on the vent. Heater full up, full blast, on hot. So I've got no shirt on, pair of shorts, and me slippers.
What's the interior like?
It's half tidy, it'll colour up. It's not bad, a little bit of wear on there, but it's not so bad. Dashboard's all good. Even the carpets are good, actually. Got 36,000 miles on there. And you know what? Would never surprise me if that's right.
The bigger 2+2 E-Type was the family-friendly option. It was stretched by 9 inches, and the roofline is a little bit higher. This one is also a less desirable auto, but Derek seems to be warming to it.
It don't smell such a bad car. Shuts are like that. Yeah, they're all there, aren't they? It's all right. You know, it's not a big problem, really. It's quite an easy job. Saggy old headlining, of course, but I mean, they always are. But generally speaking, it's all right.
As for the MGC Roadster, it's a decent example, and much more rare than the MGB.
It's okay, not a bad looking thing. Got a hard top. I haven't seen a soft top yet. But 200 and some odd quid for a new hood, so it's not worth worrying about that. So it'd be all right, make a car. They both make a car, but they really have been sort of seriously abandoned. I can imagine the E-Type will fetch somewhere between 15 and 20, and the MGC will fetch something, I would think, 10, 12-ish, something on that sort of line.
MGC Roadster. In white, original black leather upholstery, owned by the vendor since 1993 and dry stored for many years. 7,000 we've got here, 7,000. Are we going to wrap that up at 7,250, 7,250, 7,500, 7,750, 7,750 on the internet. So provisional at 7,750, are we there? 7,750, very provisional on the web.
It's a long way below the reserve, but after some negotiation, the MGC is sold for $9.5 grand. As for the Series 2 E-Type, it may not be the most desirable model, but seasoned dealer Jeff Young is already lining up an overseas buyer for it.
Yeah, it could suit him down to the ground. It's the right spec for him anyway. He wants an automatic. He wants little seats in the back for the grandchildren. It could be a really good plus for him.
Simon Green has renovated 4 E-Types.
This is fairly easy to restore. Finished about 40 grand in today's market. Top price I would put on this would be about 22, something like that, which leaves a nice payday in it when you've finished doing the restoration.
Jaguar E-Type 4.2. What a fantastic project this is for somebody. £19,000 on the internet at £19,000. 19,500. 19,500 for the Jaguar E-Type. 20,000. £20,000. Must be one of the cheapest E-Types, full stop, mustn't it? £20,000. £20,000. We've been asked to submit the best bid. First, second, third and last time provisionally at £20,000. I think it will come. £20,000. £20,000, Will.
The Jag heads for a new home on the south coast. All in all, not a bad return for Derek's less than jolly day out in Scotland.
I think they've just done about right, really. I'd have liked a little bit more for the MGC, but the E-Type, I think, I can't argue with it being bang on. I mean, 20 grand for one that wants a complete repaint and you don't know what else, can't be out of the way, really. I think that's a good bid, personally.
At the Pickering site.
Head office. Good afternoon, Mathewsons.
Numerous calls from customers who are proud to be part of the analogue generation.
Do you have a WhatsApp, Doogie? So I could just take a picture on my phone and WhatsApp you it? WhatsApp? That's all right, that's fine.
As an antidote to the sheer amount of admin that classic car sales generate.
Yes, a good idea, because he has got 12.5 on the sheet.
A test drive of some description is often a popular activity.
We're off on bike later, aren't we? Got a number plate on the back that says the Grafters, doesn't it, or something like that? Yes. Yes. Well, that's us. Quick spin round the block. Is it a proper seat or like a bike seat? I don't know, but that chopper seat yesterday was quite comfortable, actually. Was it? Yeah. It was wide and long. It was quite nice.
And this was a chopper you're talking about?
But the quadricycle only has 2 seats. That's not enough. Luckily, there's also the option of a bicycle made for 3.
I'm going on back. Hey, my brakes! That seat's really low. Feet are on floor. Do you want to swap? How do you set off? Which leg are we setting off on? I can't get because it's too low. I might have to swap with you. Swap with me? Oh, hang on, Liz. Oh, that's better. Yes!
New Trandoms can retail at anything between £600 and £6,000 if you add some batteries to it.
Careful, careful.
This one has a reserve of £300. That's just 100 each for Ange, Lucy and Rachel.
Oh my God.
At Mathewsons, vehicles are picked because they sell. It's a business after all. But some sell better than others. Currently outperforming the pack are hot hatches that are getting on a bit, but are not quite middle-aged. This is the most recent GTI to wheel spin its way through the gates. Regular David Waite, here for a browse, struck by the spectacle.
205? Peugeot? Homologation special?
Do you know your stuff, David, then, with Peugeots?
Not particularly. I'm not a fan of French or Italian cars. They tend to use spaghetti for wiring. I love German and Japanese cars.
What do they use? Sausages?
German sausages are very good. If it is what I think it is, it's very rare and valuable.
It's not. It's actually a standard 1.9 GTI with a body kit.
It's that era, isn't it? You know, big flared arches, big fiberglass panels. Yeah, cut your arches out, look, put an extension on and on they go. Drive it in as a standard little Peugeot and drive it out, think you're in a WRC car. Yeah, some might say spoil a good car, you know, some might say.
But when it comes to smoke and mirrors, there's another tricky customer waiting in the wings. The Ferrari F355 GTS is an Italian thoroughbred from the 90s. It has a V8 engine and a sub 5-second acceleration to 60 miles an hour. Whereas this car doesn't and hasn't.
I suppose this is a poor man's Ferrari. It's a replica of a 355 based on a MR2.
Nigel Bettison each bought a perfectly respectable Toyota MR2 for about £3,000 and spent a further 10 on the conversion. The real thing will cost the best part of £100,000.
It's been my pride and joy. I get in and think, don't care what badge is on, but I love the driving position. I like the shape. You can put it into gear, the brakes work, you can get from A to B and you can go shopping. Yeah, I'd love a 355, but you know, maintenance bills when it breaks down are going to be horrendous. It's a tribute, I think, to cars that have got a bit of quality behind them. And if they put a lot of love into building them, that's all I wanted.
Hello, mate.
Hi, Derek.
Oh, this is her then, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a big wide devil, isn't she? A lot of thing, isn't it? A lot of car. How'd you get in the thing?
Little handle underneath.
Oh, right. Oh, there you go. Yeah, lovely.
I mean, I'm 6'1", I can drive it easily.
Yeah. All right. What's that, 2 litre, are they?
2.
Yeah, nice thing, isn't it? Very unusual.
Now, that is real. The steering wheel.
Yeah.
That's a 355 steering wheel.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting bit of kit, mate, isn't it? Really, really difficult, isn't it, to value it accurately? So what we got to go for 15? Yeah. I mean, are there any out there advertised? Is there any out there at 10 grand?
Poor ones, very poor. There's not many either because they're not making them anymore.
Right.
They're not even making, they can't make them anymore because Ferrari have bought all the moulds to the 3 that made them and destroyed them.
Have they?
Yeah.
It's a bit surprising they get, you know, whoever's done it's got away with it, isn't it? With,
yeah.
Especially putting that on there.
Yeah.
You know. No, let's give it a go. I mean, you've just got to test the market, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Back at the Pickering site, the much-loved Austin Gypsy from 1965 and the 1951 Massey Ferguson have been dusted off and are now waiting for a new home. It would be fair to say that the Gypsy bears a striking resemblance to early Land Rovers. For comparison purposes, Paul just happens to have a 1960 example hanging round with a reserve of £9,000 on it.
We've got a series Land Rover. I think it's a 2, isn't it? A 2 or a 2A. It's had a replacement chassis. As anyone who's had anything to do with Land Rovers is aware, the first thing to give up is the chassis. But truthfully, it actually drives pretty good. For an old Land Rover, it's not too bad. As we all know, you have to hang on. They're a wandery old pig, really. All the series, of course, are all on cart springs, leaf springs. And you either love them or loathe them, really. but there's something about them, there's a bit of quirkiness about them. You've got different wheelbase, haven't you? But all the different body types are changeable, aren't they? So you could have a truck cab like this is this weekend, and if you really so desired, next weekend, if you wanted a county station wagon, unbolt the top, bolt another top on. It's just what they are.
If either the Land Rover or the Austin Gypsy aren't quite agricultural enough, there's always the Fergie to fall back on. Generally speaking, resident car washer Sir Geoffrey Bubbles can't get enough of the tractors.
The little grey Fergie started before the war, took the place of the horse on small farms. It revolutionised agriculture in a way. The key to it all was the use of mounted implements on the three arms at the back. Ploughs, harrows, discs, seed drills, everything you could want to work the land. It's quite nicely finished. Looks original and genuine. £1,400 to £1,800.
Massey Ferguson tractor, TEA20, here we go. So £1,200 there, 1,200 there with Will at 1,002, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,516, 1,650, 1,750, 1,750, £1,800, it's on sale now, £1,800, fair warning, sold 1,800.
Ex-bank manager Bubbles, spot on with the financial forecast. The Mint Fergie will plough a new furrow in the East Midlands. As for the well-preserved 70-year-old Gypsy, it's caused a fair amount of interest.
This is an ammunition box.
Gary Milne, pleased he booked a viewing.
It's so solid, it's not rickety at all. It's amazing.
What appeals to you about these sort of vehicles?
Well, there's a kind of saying about these vehicles, if you can't fix it with a hammer, you've got an electrical problem. And it's that, really. Vehicles like this, you can fix lots of things. And the engine is really easy to understand. If you were drawing a sort of child's view of an engine, it wouldn't look far off.
1965 Austin Gypsy, here we are, lovely looking thing. Obviously an older restoration, it's mellowed out nicely, it's lovely inside. So we've got some interest here, 7,500, 7,750, straight back at you, Dave, he knows what it's worth. 7,750, 8,000, 8,250, straight back at you, Dave, at 8,250, 8,500, 8,000, 8,750, 9,000, Dave, 9,000, 9,250. We're trying, Dave, 9,250, and we're trying for everybody. 9.5 with Dave there, 9,750. 10, that's with you, Dave, at 10. Next one's 10, 10.5, 10.5. Goodbye that, £10,500. Sold, 10,500, thank you.
The Gypsy heads for the Peak District to a would-be collector. It's his second purchase in as many months.
Good solid old truck, innit? You know, not messed with. And let's be fair, if you wanted one to stick away, squirrel away, whatever, at least with that one there, you can see what you get. To be honest, I think it's right. You should do that sort of money. Rarer than a Land Rover, of course. It's a good old truck, that.
After every auction, there's usually an additional flurry of excitement as vehicles are dispatched.
There you go, we've got a bell.
Today, Richard Snowden and his brother Tim have tipped up.
Blimey, look at it all.
Having never seen what they bought.
Hi guys.
Hello, hello.
How are we doing?
We're all right, thank you. We're looking for a Fergie.
The 1951 Massey Ferguson tractor with its petrol engine is the newest addition to Richard's growing collection of classics.
Just like unusual stuff. Bit of fun to mess with.
He already has a Fordson Major, a Porsche Super, a Triumph Tiger Cub, and some 18th century cannons.
Oh, here we go, look. Look at that. It's almost like new look.
The Fergie is currently a non-runner.
Water in it. I would say the odds look pretty good at that starting. We should have a little side bet. But yeah, it looks good. I like it. I like it. Got the low slung exhaust as well. A lot of them have the exhaust coming out over the top, but some have them underneath. They call them orchard tractors or vineyard tractors and things like that, where they're either made to be going somewhere low or narrow. But if you were in a hayfield or something like that, they didn't like the exhaust low in case any sparks came out. It was a bit of a fire risk, I think. I would say the tyre's seen better days, hasn't it? New one should go on there. That wheel wants painting. I'm guessing they had a puncture and just put an old wheel on it at some point.
There's also a bit of an oily leak.
It's losing a bit out of the steering by the looks of it. Dribbling down the side here. It's almost certainly just a gasket somewhere. But yeah, a few bits and pieces as always, but it'd be no fun if it was perfect, would it?
Making some space means Paul gets to burn off his breakfast.
The world's strongest man audition, this.
I'm used to pushing, aren't I? Let's be fair. I'm quite fortunate I have a bit of weight behind me to assist.
So come on, what's the odds?
To be honest, I don't know how long it's been stood. I have absolutely no idea.
Richard has come armed with a new battery and some petrol.
It's a little on the large side, but...
There you go, she's come through.
Getting a bit of a clean,
yeah? Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
A bit of sandpaper on the points and then one last go.
Yeah. Well done. That sounds good, doesn't it? That sounds really good. It's nice and sharp, that is, isn't it?
70 years old and still running like a dream. Testament to some good engineering and a quality restoration.
1,800 plus the commission. It's a bargain for that. You know, if that cuts the grass for 10 years, it'll be worth twice what it is now. As you bought a new lawnmower, it'd be scrapped by 10 years, wouldn't it? So, you know, what's not to love, eh? They should be used. It's good to see them used.
In other news, the Trandom, skillfully test-ridden, but ultimately rejected by Ange, Lucy and Rachel, turned out to be a hit at the auction.
At £650, thank you all for your bids. 650.
A bargain in the eyes of Jane Briggs, bought for her son's family to ride around Clacton-on-Sea. As for the cars that aren't what they seem, the Peugeot 205 GTI with the impressive body kit went for a very respectable price.
Coming on strong these, very, very strong these vehicles now. 9, 10, £10,000, 10,000 and away, 11,000 back in, 11,000, 11,500. They know their Peugeots, these lads. 11,500.
But the sheep in wolf's clothing,
the Toyota MR2 stroke Ferrari,
didn't fare quite so well.
We are off reserve at 7,500.
But after the auction, a prospective buyer came forward and the car made its 15 grand. As for the 1969 MGC Roadster, Derek's delivering this one by hand. And he's still going on about the Scottish weather.
Wet, windy, cold. In general, it just couldn't have been a worse day. Oh, man, the rain. Relentless. Lovely.
At 9.5 grand, this rare straight 6MG is a bit of a bargain.
Decent car. Well, it's a tidy bit of work, but it's sound. Look at it. Look. Good car. Very sound. Look at that. Look. Look how good. Look how good that is. All sound. Nice car. Make a lovely car. He's got a very good buy.
Oh, I'm soaking wet now. An hour later in North Yorkshire, new owner David Martin can finally eye up his latest acquisition in the flesh.
I think that looks spot on. Absolutely spot on. Bearing in mind I haven't seen the car until now, I think that looks lovely. That is a beauty. Hey, beauty.
And finally, the 1968 Series 2 E-Type Jag.
Hi, Bill.
Mothballed in a barn for decades, but now being renovated by Bill Chaplin in Somerset, on behalf of new owner Jason Thompson.
I've always loved the Jaguar E-Type. In 1973, my dad bought a Mark III. We lived down in West Sussex, and myself, my mum and dad, and my 2 brothers and sister, all 6 of us, used to fit into the E-Type and blast up the M1 to go up to Newcastle to see the relatives. The memories are tremendous. Did you put a gasket on that, or did you use your... Right.
Jason and Bill both work in high-end motorsport, but their track record with classics isn't quite so impressive.
I have had classic cars before, not very successfully. I've owned 4 Triumph Vitesses, bought them all in various states of disrepair, got very close with 1 convertible. The other 3 I kind of never started and just moved them on as well.
When Jason said to me, what did I know about E-Types, and I said, nothing. And there was a long silence. And I said, why did you ask that? He said, I was hoping you'd say you knew everything about it and was quite prepared to work on one for me. And I went, ah. I said, I'll do my best. I said, I suggest the first thing we do is just to get it checked over mechanically and get it running. So pulled the sump off the engine and the gearbox. That was all fine. Every rubber hose was perished, so changed all those. Fuel tank was half full of old fuel, which had been in there 30 years, so it was like the bottom of a canal. New gaskets in places, and fired it up when we were ready, and it sounded sweet as a nut. It's mechanically, engine is good.
Yeah.
I would be quite happy to drive that to the south of France.
Right. Before driving it, the brakes have got to be refurbished. My wife Anne-Marie is also getting involved, and she absolutely leapt at the chance to restore the interior. The idea then is we're not going to have it as a concourse car, we're going to drive it and enjoy it. Classic, proper British engineering like the old Jaguars. They're fantastic. The E-Type here proves how good they were because it was built to last. It's 50 years old, it's sat unused for 30 years. Bill's put a lot of work into getting it going again, but it has got going again. Most of it is still original, and that is a testimony to the engineering that was put into it in the first place. The Jaguars, I just love them, and I just think they're absolutely beautiful.
Do you think it's the most beautiful car ever made?
Yes, I think it is the most beautiful car.